Welcome one and all to V8's Online's live broadcast of the final round of the 2017 Season 2 Porsche Carrera Cup Australia Championship presented by Sim Racing Bay. We've got a 45-minute race at the magnificent Mount Panorama circuit in Bathurst and a bunch of Porsche Carrera Cup cars. And Jay Kennedy, it's been a great season, hasn't it?
It's been absolutely fantastic, and what a way to end it as we head to the mountain. Hello everyone. Yeah, it's been fantastic this Carrera Cup Australia season. Really looking forward to getting this all finished and wrapped up and ready for the next potential season, which hopefully we'll get coming up in the near future.
Yeah, certainly. It's round 9 of the championship, the final round, and Scott Larnack and Josh Muggleton are your main championship contenders so far. So the championship will be decided in this round. Got to remember that drop rounds come into play, so there could be a bit of an upset here.
Yeah, and with the way the drop rounds have been calculated, Muggleton is behind Larnack by 1 solitary point. So it's absolutely amazing. Basically, whoever finishes highest between those two cars wins the championship. It's pretty much as simple as that. Muggleton, whatever points he scores in this race will count because Muggleton's worst finish is a 0, or he's had 2 0-point rounds, which obviously won't count towards the championship, whereas Larnack, he does have to finish higher than Muggleton essentially to win the championship. So pretty much whoever wins out of those two will be the winner overall.
And that's going to be an incredible battle to witness, but there's still some prizes to be won in this race. Actual prizes, we might add, because George Johnson, the race admin, has thrown up a grand total of $100 in iRacing credit prizes, hasn't he?
Yeah, so $100 up for grabs. So shootout winner will get $25 in iRacing credit. The race winner will get $25 in iRacing credit. So if the race winner is the same person as the shootout, the second place will get that credit. So shootout winner and race winner can't win 2 lots of money. Then there's $25 up for grabs for the hard charger. So the person that drives moves up the most positions from their qualifying position. And there's also $25 up as a random prize as well. So we've also got some prize money up for grabs, some iRacing credit up for grabs. If you jump over to our website, v8online.com, subscribe to our mailing list, you will be in the running to win yourself some iRacing credit too.
Yeah, and make sure to get on that and grab yourself a little bit of iRacing money for you to spend on whatever you like on iRacing.com, be it a car, a track, or even to top up your subscription. Multiple uses for that, so once again, make sure to subscribe to our mailing list on www.v8online.com.
Another interesting format for tonight's race, shootout qualifying, which will be really, really cool around the marvellous Mount Panorama circuit. Just waiting for a few cars to come and jump in the session. There's been some issues, technical issues with the race tonight. So a few drivers are a little bit late in turning up, and the race server has started a little bit earlier than a few drivers were expecting, but that's okay. We're still live, we're still ready to go, and hopefully we'll get this qualifying underway very, very soon.
Yeah, well, while we're waiting for that, another topic of discussion, Jay, the incident limit for this event. It's going to be just one single hard limit for incidents before you get disqualified. 28 incidents. And around a track like Bathurst, oh, I don't know. That's, for me, that'd be pushing it a little bit, but I can't seem to keep myself out of the wall around here, so
I
who
can't keep
knows?
myself out of the wall at any track, regardless of whether it's Bathurst or anywhere else. So it doesn't really matter what the incident limit is for me. I usually get there. So Gene Fiddy's out on track, the first driver to complete this shootout qualifying.
Yes, indeed. Gene Fiddy's in that Progression Racing Australia Porsche. And Gene, well, he's shown quite a bit of potential, hasn't he? He's been up there throughout the season and in different cars as well. In Of course, the All-Star Shootout and the V8 Supercar Online Premier Series. He's one of those guys that you can always count on to at least be challenging in the midfield.
Tell you one series to watch him in is the MX5 series. He'll be one to watch. He'll be right up at the pointy end in that series. He runs in the European time zone. Big splits. So one driver that is very, very good in the MX5. So on the Thursday night MX5 series, watch out for Gene Fiddies. He will be one to watch as he makes his way through the chase.
Yeah, I hear Gene actually won second split in the Cup Price Racing MX5 Challenge last week. So he certainly has potential.
Just hearing that Larnack could still win the championship if Muggleton wins the race.
There's always a possibility.
So there's lots and lots of numbers and number crunching going on between everyone. So we'll leave all the number side of things to the officials to sort out. But Gene Fiddy's on this flying lap.
Yep, coming up to Griffin's Bend, turn 2 at Bathurst. It's a pretty cool track there tonight. 26-degree air temperature, 27 track temperature. And Fiddy's pitching that car in nicely. It's looking very composed over that exit curb. Let's see how he goes in the cutting. Looking like a very nice car underneath Gene Fiddy's right now.
Yeah, looking nice and stable, nice and controlled. He's not pushing it over the limit, which is quite easy to do in these cars, and especially at this track. But he's keeping it nice and controlled. Just keeping a lid on it, making sure he finishes the lap. And actually setting a lap time is going to be key in this race.
Yeah, certainly. I think that that Mount Panorama, of course, among Australia and New Zealand iRacers, it's got a bit of a well, I mean, it's a legendary track, full stop. But for us, it's one of those tracks where you want to be a hero, but the very reason that Bathurst is so legendary is because it punishes people who try to be too flippant with it. So
yeah,
Fiddy's is doing the right thing right now.
It doesn't care what scalps it takes to this beautiful beast. It'll punish anyone who treats it badly. She's a wild old girl.
Yeah, well, Gene Fiddy's is doing everything right at the moment, just keeping it on the track, keeping it nice and stable and controllable, because, hey, if one of the fast guys messes up, he could really move up. So Gene Fiddy's just coming down to the last turn, Murray's Corner at Mount Panorama. Much more challenging corner than you think it is. Through he goes. Let's see what kind of time he's going to do here. It's going to be a 2:07.3.
Yeah, not a bad banker lap. So, good starting point from him. Two drivers out on track about to start their flying laps. Michael Hammond on track, as is Warwick Brown. He's just coming up the mountain, but Michael Hammond starting his flying lap. Time to beat is Gene Fiddy's with a 2:07.3.
Yep, and Hammond kicking up a little bit of smoke coming into Hell Corner. But he powers down nicely. Up Mountain Straight. Hammond's another one of those guys who you can't really count out. He's definitely shown pace. Looks like he's already pushing a bit harder than Fiddy's was, using second gear through Griffins.
It looks a little bit more committed, a bit more of an all-out lap here by the looks of it so far, but that doesn't necessarily play off here at this track.
Well, in order to do that around the whole lap, got to be very confident in your car, and looks like Hammond is doing pretty well at the moment, but we'll see what happens when he comes down through the S's. This is McPhillamy Park, just bouncing it off the curb.
It's just using the right amount of curb too, just bouncing it just nice and smooth, not unsettling the car, just using the curb as opposed to throwing it over, which a lot of guys tend to do up over the top.
That was a nice line through the dipper he took, and a very nice line through Forest Elbow as well. So Hammond obviously quite comfortable in that Laser Racing Carrera Cup car right now. Now he gets a chance to have a little bit of a rest, go up through gears a little.
Take a big deep breath here though as you race yourself in for the chase. 277 before gets out of the throttle. Very unsettled under brakes, but he actually pulled it up quite well despite the big squirrely nature of the car at the rear.
Yeah, for sure. Let's see what kind of time Hammond can come up with. This has looked like a very good lap from Michael Hammond so far. Oh, a little bit of oversteer out of Murray's, but he crosses the line to do a 207.7.
That puts him in P2 as we go to Warwick Brown, who is already on his flying lap. Nice and committed up through Reed Park.
Over the rise of McPhillamy, just a tiny bit of oversteer, but that's okay. He uses that to pitch the car in. Very nice line through the S's. Taking it nice and wide on the entry to Forest Elbow and just grazing the wall. Now he's staying all the way to the left, down Conrod Straight.
I had to do that a couple of times today too to remember my lefts and rights.
Oh, I get them confused all the time. Warwick Brown very committed.
Yeah, just a slight little lock up the left front, but it actually pulled up quite well. So Brown will come up and over the rise under the bridge and into Murray's corner. On this flying lap, 207.3 is a target time, crosses the line. It's going to be about the same time as Hammond, just a little bit quicker, slots into P2.
Yep, 400ths faster than Michael Hammond is Warwick Brown, so that slots him into provisional position 2.
Gary Hamilton, next driver out for Dynamic Sim Racing.
Yep, Gary Hamilton obviously coming off from a second place finish with Justin Strickland in the Oceanic Endurance Championship test round this afternoon, so no rest for Mr. Hamilton.
Not many drivers have done this double duty. I think only two, from what I can see, Griffin Gardner and Gary Hamilton, the only two that have done both races today. And well done to you, Reese, on picking up the win. Well deserved.
Oh, thanks, Jay, but I don't want to talk about myself too much. Gary Hamilton.
I'll do it for you then.
Gary Hamilton coming up to the cutting, taking a very nice line on the exit, keeping it controlled over the bumps.
Yeah, nice and smooth. Just using the curb up through Reed Park nicely to position the car. Through Metal Grate looked very, very good.
Certainly did. Nice controlled line through McPhillamy as well, just avoiding the curb. Using the dip through the dipper to angle himself the right way for this next series of corners and down to Forest Elbow, pitching it in, a little bit of a lock up under brakes. Getting on the throttle, sorry, nice and hard. You don't want to get on the brakes at the exit of Forest Elbow. That'd be just stupid.
Well, it depends on what's happening ahead of you, but probably not too often you're getting on the brakes at the exit. But down Conrod Straight, we'll see if he can get to nearly 280 k's an hour. 276, 77 just before he's hard on the brakes. Into the chase.
Yep, keeping it off the curbs. So nice and controlled is Gary Hamilton's lap, and I think at the very least this will be a low 207, maybe a high 206.
Yeah, I think he's going to be in the 206s here. Actually, he's in the 205s by the looks of it.
Whoa!
205.6. Pretty much 1.5 seconds, just over 1.5 seconds gain on Gene Fitties as we go to
Wayne Pendley just starting a lap.
Yeah, Griffin Gardner was on a lap, but he is aborted his lap by the looks of it, so he might have had some sort of issue on his flying lap. He's back in the pits, but Pendley, driver that is really starting to move his way up the field as we've gone on throughout this series.
Yeah, certainly. Seen him around a fair bit, as is the case for a lot of drivers in Carrera Cup Australia. But Pendley, yeah, he's looking good for some good championship placing here. This looks like a lap very on par with Fiddy's lap.
That was
so
close
far.
against the wall.
Ran a little bit wide at Sulman.
Oh, had to get out of the
throttle
throttle of it. Yeah, jinx. That was almost disastrous, but the big thing there is he managed to keep it off the wall and still getting this lap time in, because actually getting a lap time is the most important thing in these shootouts. You might gain 2 or 3 spots even if you just set a time. We've already seen guys, well, we're thinking that we've seen Griffin Gardner post a 0 lap time, so he will start last. So any time will do. Any time is better than a 0.
You're exactly right there, Jay. Around a track like this, 6.213 kilometers long, that's an awful lot of road, and a lot of it goes up and down and side to side at a very quick rate, so it's very easy to mess up a lap around here. If you can, at the very least, keep it on track, get a time on the board, then you'll have done better than at least one person in the field. So Wayne Pendley exiting Murray's Corner. That's going to be a lap time in the 209s, a 209.6, but it's still a time on the board.
It is. We go to our resident international in the series, Mark McDonnell, coming down Conrod Straight. Great to have Mark as part of the series. He's up at ridiculous hours on a Sunday morning to jump in and drive with Australians. That's very committed. I don't know anyone else that'd get up early at stupid hours to race and do sim racing on a Sunday morning race.
Oh, I used to do that with the Euro guys back in the R-Factor
Pretty sure you
days.
did it this morning.
Oh, well, yeah, actually, I did. I woke up on my own at 4:45, so...
So
I thought,
I was awake that early too, don't worry. McDonald crosses the line and does a 2:07.1 and jumps into second ahead of Fiddies and Brown. Good lap time from him. So you got Daniel Stevens, he's on his flying lap. Off and running already.
Yeah, Daniel Stevens in the other WP concreting Porsche. Just coming up the mountain, revving the absolute wheels off that car. Looking pretty good through the dip.
Yep, nice through metal grate and not clipping the curb the next corner through and then up through McPhillamy. It's looked nice and well and smooth too. So down the hill, down through the S's, through the dippers, looking nicely so far.
Looks like Stevens just running a little wide at Forest Elbow, but that is recoverable.
It's not that bad of a place to make a mistake because the downhill run, if you run wide, as long as you can get the power on early still, you're not too bad. So
you do have a little bit of an advantage in that the entirety of Forest Elbow is sort of cambered inwards. So unlike a lot of this track where there's a bit of a crown in the road, Stevens just avoiding an off track there. But there's a crown in the road around a lot of this racetrack, so there is a bit of a problem sometimes if you run wide in a corner, but not at Forest Elbow. Daniel Stevens, what time is he going to put on the board? 2:09.9. So that puts him behind his teammate Wayne Pendley.
Michael Healy will be the next driver to do a flying lap. We make our way halfway through this qualifying field, or close to anyway. We'll conclude with Muggleton and Larnack, the last two drivers out to do a flying lap.
Yep, and they'll have a nice rubbered-in track to have a bit of a steer on. Healy exits Murray's Corner to start his lap. And Healy, throughout this season, we've seen Muggleton be the the top dog for the most part, with occasionally Larnack and Jake Maloney from TTL Esports getting a bit of a look in at some rounds. But Michael Healy, he's been on the podium in almost every race.
He's a really consistent driver, and we've seen in the EMR Super Cup as well, Healy has tried to fight with Muggleton, but not quite close enough by the end of the races to be there. But I don't think it'll be too long before we see Healy pushing Muggleton to a next level. Hopefully there's no next level for the rest of the field for Muggo, but Healy is definitely working towards... Oh, that's the wall.
Oh, I think he might have just avoided that, Jay.
Yep.
It looked like a very committed lap from Healy
Yep.
so far. He was pretty much glued to the inside wall of the cutting.
Yep. See if this lap time counts with that potential clip of the wall. It may have counted as a 0x contact, may not have. If it does count as a 0x contact, it means that the lap time will be null and void, but hopefully for his sake not, because it's very, very committed at the moment.
Yeah, I would say that Healy has managed to avoid any contact with the wall, because the way he looked down the hill looked like he was really pushing it, really chasing that lap time. So who knows? He might have just escaped.
We'll find out very, very soon.
His rear wing does have a little bit of a dent in it, so maybe that's what made contact with the wall.
Yeah, the rear right of the car looked like it was clipping the wall at Metal Grate, but we'll see. So he comes across the line. It's going to be a 2:05.
Very deep into Murray's.
Yep.
2:05.9.
Did count. So into second place behind Gary Hamilton. 3/10 away. Alex Greenwood next.
Yep, Alex Greenwood, the other Progression Racing Australia Porsche in the field. And Greenwood ran a time good enough for 6th place in practice, so it'll be interesting to see what he can do from here. Looks like if he ran the time that he ran in practice, he would slot in this session in 5th place, so Greenwood's looking pretty good here at the moment.
Doing a very, very good job of making sure the tyres are nice and warm, ready for the shootout run.
Well, he crosses the line to begin his attempt.
Up mountain straight we go.
Yep, using a good amount of curb on the exit of Hell Corner. Looks like pretty good lap so far. It's only 1 corner old, but Hell Corner is one of those turns that is deceptively difficult. Coming up to Griffin's now, just through the dip, braking just after the 100 marker. Keeping it nice and steady through the banking.
Up the steepest part of the circuit. TV cameras do not do this section of the track justice. You feel like you're driving up a sheer cliff. Up and up and up you climb.
Try walking up it. It's crazy.
Fun, isn't it?
Yeah, it certainly is.
Actually, I don't know if fun is the right word for walking Mount Panorama, but it's something you all have to do. Definitely is something that I've ticked off my bucket list and can't wait to do again. Alex Greenwood.
If leg day is your hobby, then yeah, walking Bathurst is just about the best thing you can do. Alex Greenwood going through the dipper. Oh, bit of a slide.
This doesn't look too bad from Greenwood. Just the right levels of commitment at the moment. Nice and controlled, nice and smooth.
Yep. And I guess I'll make the point here that Bathurst, it really is the Nürburgring of the Southern Hemisphere, because there's really no such thing as a perfect lap around here. Doesn't matter how good you are, there's always going to be something that you can do better around here. Alex Greenwood taking a bit of a tight line into the chase, but he's kept it on the road.
This looks like a pretty good lap. I think it's going to be around the 206s, maybe 207s. 207.7, I've got a feeling. Look at
Yep,
that.
exactly right. He slots in 7th place provisional.
So, next driver out, looks like it'll be Andrew Stokes.
Yep, and he's just lining up at pit exit, getting ready for his run.
As it stands right now, Gary Hamilton, Michael Healy, Mark McDonald, Gene Fiddies, Warwick Brown, Michael Hammond, and Alex Greenwood. The top 7, then we've got Wayne Pendley and Daniel Stevens. The 9 cars that we've had post a lap time so far. 9 down,
Yep.
9 to go.
Yep, just gone past 22 minutes and 30 seconds in the session, so we're right on schedule as Andrew Stokes negotiates Griffin's Bend on his outlap. Stokes, once again, one of those drivers that you see there or thereabouts in the midfield, sometimes challenging in the top 10.
Yeah, and he'll be right up there again, fighting for those top 10 positions again today. So look to see some sort of move from Stokes. Of course, this track not easy to maneuver around, not easy to get a pass done. And guys that can just hold their position, hold their lines, are drivers that always do well here. So watch out for Andrew Stokes. By the end of the race, we could see him feature right in the middle of the top 10.
Yeah, for sure. He's already pushing quite hard on this outlap, getting some heat into those tyres. Now, Andrew was 8th in practice with a 2:07.729. If he ran that time, he would be sitting 6th in the shootout at the moment. There's always potential to go faster. But once again, these shootout qualifying sessions, it is a balancing game. Do you go for glory, or do you just go around the track and just get a time on the board?
You got to find that real nice middle ground in between those two, don't you?
Yeah, it's easier said than done as
Not
Andrew
wrong.
Stokes crosses the line and begins his lap. Very deep into Hell Corner. Runs a little bit wide, but that's okay.
They just use that curb to balance the car nicely and get a good run up Mountain Straight.
Yeah, Hell Corner, one of those corners. As I said during Stokes' run, it's deceptively difficult. It's got multiple lines possible through it, and
None of them are right.
exactly, you took the words right out of my mouth.
That's what it feels like whenever I go around there. I can never do the same line twice and they always feel wrong regardless of what I do. Such a weird corner. It's so simple on paper. It's just a 90-degree corner that starts the run up a big long straight, but it's so much more than that.
Yeah, it certainly is. Andrew Stokes sticking to the left a bit on the run up to Metal Grate, but gets through nice and clean. Oh, that's a bit too wide at McPhillamy.
Yeah, big bobble over the top, over the curb on the outside at McPhillamy Park, and then unsettled the car over the crown of the road, but not too bad looking as he's coming down the mountain.
Yeah, this sequence of corners, right, left, down to Forest Elbow, took a very direct line toward the apex there. Forest Elbow, it's a lot like Hell Corner, isn't it? Multiple lines, none of them are right.
Yeah, I feel like the driver that's in my mirror, because I've always got someone behind me trying to pass me, usually lap me, but always feel like they're doing the corner so much better than I am. Stokes actually lifted off the throttle a little bit early coming into the chase, so maybe not feeling the grip in the car quite as well as we've seen other drivers, but he'll come under the Armor All Bridge and down into another corner that you always seem to get wrong, Murray's Corner. Across the line, do a 207.7. Yet another 207.7.
Yeah, it seems to be the fashion of the day. We've got 4 cars doing a 2:07.7 right now. They're all separated by only 0.05 of a second, so it's pretty close there.
Yeah, Hammond to Stokes is a hundredth of a second between 6th to 8th as it stands right now. So very, very close as we've got David Coleman about to start his flying lap, as is Corey Ott. So two drivers heading up Mountain Straight on their... Actually, Ott's on his flying lap as he gets out of the way of Coleman.
I rewound and he just come out of the pits.
Yeah, Ott's on his out lap. Sorry, Coleman's on his flying lap. That's what I meant to say.
Okay.
After I realised I said the wrong thing. It's alright, it's been a long day.
Certainly has for you, Jay. You've been broadcasting for 6 hours already today.
Yeah, it was 7.
Oh,
anyway,
okay.
That's another
I stand
story.
corrected. David Coleman negotiating the top of the mountain very nicely so far.
Yeah, he's looking nice and smooth. And right there, though, that bobble down through McPhillamy Park as you come over the rise and down the hill, it's unsettling a couple of cars. We saw with Stokes, unsettled him, and Coleman, not quite as severe, but unsettled a little. Oh, big moment.
Yep. Oh, and that's contact with the wall almost. Wondering if he actually did make contact there. Through the dipper, he just pitched it in a little too much. Too much oversteer through the dip, and as the suspension compressed, well, there wasn't really much Coleman could do there.
So this
but
lap...
I feel like... sorry, Jay, go on.
No, you go.
I was going to say, this lap seems to be a very good demonstration of, once again, the defining handling characteristic of these Porsches. Mount Panorama seems to really bring it out.
It amplifies everything, doesn't it?
It certainly does. And the handling characteristic that I'm talking about as Coleman comes out of Murray's Corner and posts a 2:07.992 is that getting as much weight on the front as possible is the most important aspect of driving a car around here. As Corey Ott starts his lap.
You really got to get the braking right. As you just see Ott, as he puts his foot on the brake, big squirrel under brakes, but manages to pull it up okay for Hell Corner, gets through okay. Another driver doing double duty with the racing today. Raced earlier in the Oceanic Endurance Championship as well. 5th in the HPD. I must say, well done to everyone that raced in that event today. To have 20 cars turn up, 16 finish, no safety cars, no issues, no real, well, maybe one incident that's left a bit of a talking point post-race, but all in all, absolutely fantastic race. So well done to everyone that raced today, including yourself,
nearly
Reece.
3 years of racing the HPD and hosted series, that is the cleanest race I've ever had.
It was amazing. It was great.
Yeah, it was awesome, and hopefully it sets a precedence for the rest of the series. But Ott, as he comes over the rise at McPhillamy Park, you see...
That looked better.
The front end just goes light, and then again down through here, just keeping it on the brakes, trying to keep that weight on the front tires, trying to keep that turn in going, because they've got that flat 6. Whoa, dear! That's going to be the track blocked briefly, and Corey Ott's lap is done. A little bit too much weight on the front that time round.
Cut Price Racing replay on screen of that, and just a little bit of a lock-up, and around she went. She didn't like it at all, and that's see you later for Corey Ott. So now 2 drivers that have not posted lap times, and that's the big thing we were talking about with that lap from Daniel Stevens, making sure he got a time on the board after the issue. And have a look, it's paid dividends. He's gaining a couple of spots because he's actually got a lap time registered.
That's exactly right.
Mark Dean on screen.
Yep, Mark Dean. Challenging in the mid-top 10 on a regular basis this season, has Mark Dean. He's had a bit of bad luck here and there, but overall it's been a very good season from him.
He's done very, very well throughout this season. He's currently 6th in the championship, and by the looks of it, Ben Dowell not racing tonight, so he could potentially move up a couple of spots depending on how this race goes, he could finish as high as 4th in this championship. So very important for Dean to get a good starting position for this 45 lap race here tonight in Carrera Cup Australia.
Yep, for sure. And Dean braking nice and early for Griffin, sticking to the inside, sort of running over the curb slightly. Looked very committed through there. See how he goes through the cutting. Keeps it nice and tight to the inside. Now we go through Reed and Solomon. Oh, that just looked beautiful.
Yeah, nice and smooth, nice and controlled. But with the right amount of commitment as well, and perfect up out of Metal Grate and into McPhillamy, a little bit wide, but manages to control it quite well. So we start the downhill climb through Skyline, down through the S's, and into the dipper. This has looked pretty good. This is a spot where you can not gain any time, but you can definitely lose a lot of time, and that looked pretty good.
Certainly did. He did have to get out of the throttle a little bit on the exit of the dipper just to keep himself out of the wall, but I don't think that would have cost him too much. Mark Dean now on Conrod straight.
See what speed he can get up to down there. It looks like about 277's been the max speed that guy's been able to do down Conrod straight. See what he can do. 277 and onto the brakes. That was fully committed through the kink in the chase and nice and deep. Hits the apex well, gets out of the corner well under the Armorall Bridge. This looks good.
Yeah, this does look like a very good lap from Mark Dean. Let's see how deep he goes into Murray's. Nice and controlled through there. Stamp on the throttle out on the exit. Run over the curb a little bit.
207.4.
Very nice time. That's put him in 5th place.
Now we have 3 to go.
Yes, we do. And it looks like none of them are out on track just yet. So we have a little bit of time to take a breather. That lap from Gary Hamilton, that 2:05.6. I don't know. There's only 3 drivers left to run laps, and that's Stuart Hall, Scott Larnack, and Josh Muggleton. I'm sure that, at the very least, Muggleton and Larnack have it in them to beat that 2:05, but will they make a mistake along the way is the question.
Yeah, who knows what will happen. It's going to be very, very interesting. Stuart Hall will be the next driver out. In around about a minute and a half, he'll leave the pit lane, so Ben Dowell would have been out next, but as we said, he's absent from the race tonight, which is a little bit disappointing to see that he isn't here for this one, but Muggleton and Larnack at the end, that'll be an awesome battle. Stuart Hall done a great job as well. He'll finish as high as 4th in the championship. He's battling with Mark Dean. Essentially, it will be a battle between Dean and Hall for the championship.
Certainly will. And Stuart Hall is now in his car waiting for the green flag to start his run.
This has been an absolutely awesome season. So while we got a little bit of a lull, congratulations to George Johnson on running an absolutely fantastic championship here in Carrera Cup Australia. Well done to you, George. Thank you for your support and all the drivers and us here at V8 appreciate all the hard work you've done in making it really entertaining. And Reese and I have said it many, many times, but I think Carrera Cup has been our most popular and most enjoyable series to broadcast out, all the ones we do.
Yeah, certainly. It's been an absolutely brilliant series to watch and to commentate on, to follow. Occasionally getting changed up with these shootout formats.
It's been good. You'd never know what to expect every round because each round has been so unique and special and different. It's been great. So well done to George for the hard work for this season. It hasn't gone unnoticed from everybody. So big thank you to you.
Yeah, certainly. It's always it's always good to see also a series admin that keeps in touch with the drivers and really keeps them up to date on rule changes and stuff like that. George is watching all the time, watching how drivers respond to the rules, to the regulations, to the event formats, and he's been tweaking them all through the season to make it the best show for everybody. So,
Yep.
brilliant job from Mr. Johnson.
Yep, and the big thing too that a lot of series admins don't do is actually listen to what the drivers would like, and that's something that George has done very well. So, well done to George. Yes, there is an iRacing credit giveaway. We are giving away $25 in iRacing credit to a lucky member or non-member that joins our mailing list on our website. So head to v8online.com, join our mailing list, and we will give away $25 in iRacing credit to someone who has joined our mailing list between the start of our OEC broadcast this morning right through until the conclusion of Carrera Cup Australia. So make sure you do.
Time is running out. Make sure
Yep.
you get in there for the chance to win your iRacing credits. So, Stuart Hall, negotiating the chase as we speak on his outlap. We're going to get through to the final few competitors in this shootout session. And Hall will exit Murray's corner and begin his run. Now, Hall ran a 2:06.9 in practice, good enough for 5th place. But if he does that right now, he'll be good enough for 3rd. So, pressure is on a little bit. Will he be able to beat Gary Hamilton's 2:05.6? We'll see. As he comes up to Griffin's, just a little bit wide. But once again, there's many corners through here that you don't necessarily have to get the perfect line through. In fact, for a lot of corners here, there is no perfect line. For example, just right there, the cutting. He started out wide, but then he brought it back into the apex, a very late apex, and was able to get a good run up the hill.
Oh, that looked committed.
Yeah, certainly did. Almost taken off the rear wing end plate. Keeping it nice and steady over the top. The highest point on the circuit. Nice and early on the brakes down through the S's. Once again, it's all about maximising the contact patch on the tarmac that those big front tyres have. Not like most of the cars that we race and commentate on here at V8's Online. There's no engine over the front wheels. There's no engine in the middle of the car either to keep the weight distribution nice and even. These engines are hanging out over the rear axle, so it's quite a different car to drive. We've been saying it all season. It's all about your braking performance. You've got to make sure that you don't get on the throttle too early. Getting on the throttle nice and early through a corner is not an option in this car.
It's a bit,
Let's see what
bit of a
Stuart
strange
Hall can
beast
do.
like that, but yeah, Hall's laps look very, very good so far. But he's going to drop behind Hamilton, 2:07.5 by the looks of it. He'll slot into 6th position.
Well, that's a very good job nonetheless from Stuart Hall. Not quite as fast as he could do in practice, but once again, he's got a time on the board.
Yeah, and that's the most important thing in these shootout qualifying sessions is Josh Muggleton comes through Murray's corner and onto the front straight to start his flying lap. Time to beat is a 2:05.6. Is the target time at the moment.
Yep, and Muggleton, in just about every race he's done, has been the absolute class of the field. He's barely put a foot wrong in this series, balancing this with real-life racing commitments. And also with the EMR Industries Super Cup, the V8 Scots support races.
Interesting to hear that he's unavailable to race in the Bathurst 1000 next weekend though, so
Oh no,
he
that's a shock.
yeah, it's a little bit of a shock. Just heard in the last half hour, 45 minutes. So Jared Filsell looking for another teammate for the the endurance race at Bathurst next weekend. The championship leader, the winner of the Phillip Island 500, not able
That'll
to
put him
defend.
out of the running for the Endurance Cup
Yes,
as
it
well,
will.
won't it?
It will. So that's big breaking news. But Muggleton coming down the hill.
And this looks like an impeccable lap from Muggleton so far. Oh, that's the best line through
That's
the dipper
great.
I've seen all night.
Yep. Almost clipped the inside of the dipper wall, but almost smashed our camera off the wall. It was that committed, but looking very, very smooth here from Muggleton.
Almost taking the rear wing end plate off again at the wall on the exit of Forest Elbow. Down the straight he goes. Might we see a mythical 278 km/h top speed?
We may. Or even more, will we? We'll find out in just a second. 276. No, 276 maxed out at through the kink in the chase. And nice and smooth through the chase as well.
Yep, using all of that curb on the exit. So only one corner to go for Josh Muggleton. I think this will easily beat Hamilton's 2:05.6. We'll see in a couple of seconds though. 2:05.2.
Great lap.
Well, now it all comes down to Scott Larnack for Evolution Racing Team, Muggleton's main championship rival. And this is a round at which he could theoretically win the championship. If he finishes ahead of Muggleton, he will win. The first step to that is starting ahead of him.
Yep. This will be the last qualifying lap. Larnack. Got a great exit out of Murray's and looks very, very smooth coming through Hell Corner.
So there's an awful lot of waiting to do on this track at the start and end of the lap, coming up to Griffins and then down to the chase on Conrod. But Larnack looking very composed so far. Excellent line through the cutting. Nice and smooth. Kept it well to the inside. Just backing out of the throttle a little bit over the rise here, but keeping it planted thereafter. Oh, pushing really hard over the top. Flips that apex. Down through the S's, straight lining it almost. Through the dipper. An excellent lap from Scott Larnack so far. But we're not done just yet. Through Forest Elbow he goes, keeping it well to the white line. And hard on the throttle now out onto Conrod straight. This is looking really fast.
Looking very, very good at the moment for Larnack.
Checkered flag for the session is out, so this is going to be the very end. Hard on the brakes for the chase, maximizing the road width. This looks to be at least on par with Muggleton's 2:05.2. We'll see what Larnack can do. Hard on the throttle out of Murray's.
It's in the 205s. I think it's 205.5.
Yep.
Just ahead of Hamilton.
5.83. So Muggleton with pole position by a bit over 3/10.
We'll run
But
through the
still.
starting grid quickly because
Yeah.
I will give away some cash. How's that sound? We'll do a giveaway. How's that sound, Reese?
Yeah, that does sound pretty good.
Muggleton will start first from Scott Larnack, then Gary Hamilton, Michael Healy, Mark McDonald. Good job from him. He'll start fifth. And Gene Fitty's in sixth. Mark Dean in seventh. Stuart Hall in eighth. Warwick Brown ninth. And rounding out the top 10 is Michael Hammond.
Alex Greenwood's going to line up 11th. Andrew Stokes in 12th. David Coleman 13th. 14th, Wayne Pendley. Daniel Stevens, the last time on the board, in 15th. And starting behind them, Griffin Gardner and Corey Ott.
So we've got 3 lots of $25 to give away tonight as well. So first one obviously was to give away joining a mailing list. Anyone join the mailing list, subscribe up to that, and then we're going to do every 15 minutes of the race. So minute 0, minute 15, minute 30. We'll do a random question about Porsche Carrera Cup Australia Series. So have you got a question that you might think that we can use as a giveaway, Reese? I've got nothing, but I'll think of
I've
something.
got nothing either.
All right, I've got one. In the round at VIR, Josh Muggleton received a black flag penalty. Why? Answer in the YouTube chat or on the Facebook chat. And at the end of the broadcast, we will give away $25 in iRacing credit to someone who gets that question right. So if you are watching, we will do the giveaway before we wrap up the broadcast. We'll announce who all the winners are. We'll do them completely at random because most of the people in the YouTube chat, we don't know who your nickname actually is. So that's the first question. Why did Muggo get a black flag penalty at VIR?
There you go. Start thinking.
I hope you remember, Reese.
I don't.
Do you really?
I don't. I actually don't remember.
Yeah, $25 in iRacing credit to someone who gets this right. And we will announce who's going to win that before the end of the night. So answer your questions if you are watching on our YouTube broadcast, or if you're watching on Facebook, you can answer on our Facebook chat as well, and we will go through them before the end of the race, or before the end of the broadcast, I should say, and we'll randomly pick a winner.
Yes, we shall, but we're about to tick over now into the race session. Waiting for the drivers to start lining up on the grid here for this 45-minute race at the Mount Panorama circuit. The final round of Porsche Carrera Cup Australia. It's going to be Scott Larnack versus Josh Muggleton. I almost said Scott Muggleton there, Jay.
I did that earlier today, don't worry.
Oh, yeah. It's been that kind of day, hasn't it?
I'm surprised I can still speak English, let alone get names right, but it's been a long day. We were live for 6 hours and 45 for Oceanic Endurance Championship. We're now live for Porsche Carrera Cup Australia, and we've loved every minute of every broadcast so far today. So it's been great fun. Loved bringing the broadcast to everyone today, and a big thank you to everyone for tuning in to this broadcast right now, and also our last broadcast earlier today, the Oceanic Endurance Championship. If you're not sure on whether you want to run in the OEC, wowee, what a series that's going to be. 6-hour sprint race it turned into today. No safety cars, full strategy play coming into it, and well done, Reese, on picking up the win. I'll talk.
Thank you very much, Jay.
I'll inflate your tyres, mate.
Thank you very much, Jay. It was a really fun race to compete in, and I can't wait for round 1 at Monza.
Yeah, we're not far away from that too. It's only 5 weeks away. Doesn't feel like it will take that long to actually turn up, but we've waiting for, I think, one more car to join the grid.
Yeah, we got 10 seconds left until the lights go up. And here we go. Muggleton starting to rev up his engine in preparation. The lights will go up. And we are go for the final round of Carrera Cup Australia. Looks like Larnack sort of was caught sleeping a bit. There's Gary Hamilton up the inside and into second. And Larnack's going to lose more positions here. Michael Healy with a bit of a run on him out of turn 1 now. And look at Mark McDonald. He's wanting to get in on this as well.
It's a good fight happening here already.
But Muggleton well in the lead from Gary Hamilton. Is Larnack going to defend from Michael Healy? Yes, he is. He's going to go right up the inside into Griffins. And McDonald's going to slot in behind Healy. Field single file coming out of turn 2.
Nice and clean as well coming up the mountain, which is good to see as we come into cutting for the first time.
We do, and once again, it looks like everybody's gotten through there cleanly. Oh, Stevens and Gardner side by side through Reed Park almost. That looked a bit hairy, but they've managed to get through there nice and cleanly. So Larnack gapping Healy. and chasing down Hamilton, who seems to be staying with Muggo. Oh, we got a car off. That's Stuart Hall down in the S's. He's had a
Facing
spin.
the wrong way. Going to get it going again, but not a place to want to lose it. I mean, you don't want to lose it at this track anyway, but that's probably the worst place because it's so hard to rejoin.
Yeah, it certainly is. It looked like the rear end just got loose over the crest and he wasn't able to correct it. So the field in single file now. Looks like Wayne Pendley and Corey Ott are starting to form a bit of a battle pack of their own.
Oh, big moment. That's Warwick Brown. Big slide. He's managed to pull it up and not make contact with anyone, but he had it all crossed up sideways across the dirt. Front wheels in the dirt coming
Mark
into
Dean.
the chase.
Sorry, Mark Dean and Gene Fitties side by side. Dean tried to go up the inside of Murray's. Fitties held it. It looks like Dean is going to have the inside now for Hell Corner, and he's going to gain a position here.
Just getting a Cup Cross Racing replay of big lock up for Warwick Brown. He managed to hold it surprisingly well in the end.
And just while you're looking at that, Jay, Wayne Pendley had a lock up and went in too deep at Hell Corner. He's going to let Corey Ott by here at Griffin's.
He's got his teammate. Oh, it's a big crash. Big crash. We've got Hammond and Greenwood.
Oh, no.
Massive hit for both of those cars into the wall.
What on earth happened there? Let's have a look. Looks like Greenwood just missed his braking point. So Hammond moved across and then hit the brakes. I don't think Greenwood was quite prepared for that, but in fairness to Hammond, he was braking at roughly the same point that you usually brake for Griffins, and then yeah, Greenwood straight into the back of him and then into the side.
Oh.
Michael
Hammond's
Hammond
car
into the wall.
his car's pretty much toast is Hammond's. He's trying to make it back to the pits, but I don't think he's going to be able to. It doesn't look in too good a state right now. Muggleton's pulled a gap on Hamilton. Larnack stuck with Hamilton. Healy and McDonald having their own little battle.
Yeah, looking close between these guys, and Larnack be wanting to get by Hamilton as quickly as possible so he can try and mount some kind of challenge to Josh Muggleton.
Griffin Gardner, Wayne Pendley just having a bit of a battle now at the moment. Gardner gets past Pendley.
He does indeed. Pendley getting into the grass a little. Looks like Gardner's just able to carry a bit more speed through Hell Corner. Mark McDonald and Michael Healy still battling hard for fourth position.
Healy's got a little bit of damage to the rear wing as well.
Yeah, I think he might have got that across the top or on the exit of Forest Elbow.
So that the front is fairly damaged as well. The front right-hand wheel.
Well, there we go. There's McDonald with the same kind of damage to his rear wing, just tapping the wall at metal grade as you do.
Why not? Why not?
Yeah, it's almost a mark of honor, really.
I think it's something you just have to do. When you're racing at Bathurst, at some point you have to dent your rear wing and hit the wall at metal grade.
That's it. Well, it looks like Healy's managed to gap McDonald slightly.
Oh, big
here.
crash coming up to the dipper. Griffin Gardner.
Oh, no. And that's the caution out. So this is going to bring the field back together.
The track was blocked, so very good call for the safety car because Griffin Gardner did block the track. Big moment coming through McPhillamy off under the dirt. And then, oh, big lock up, hits the wall and blocks the track just before the dipper, and then makes contact trying to straighten up. That wasn't a good idea to try and do that.
Yeah, I think that was almost instinctive from Griffin, just like, oh no, I've crashed, I'm at a standstill, I gotta get going again.
Yep.
Unfortunately, not a very good place to do that. Walls on both sides, and he's pretty much on the racing line, so he made a bit of contact with Daniel Stevens, and then with Stuart Hall.
Yep.
So that's unfortunate for Griffin, but now the drivers that have been gapped will have a chance to have another bite of the cherry, so to speak.
It will now. Apologies again. Just updated all the overlays this week, and I've forgotten to leave this race as a timed race, so it's coming up with the predictometer on screen, so it'll have a heart attack and that over the next couple of laps, so my apologies. But still 37 minutes left in this race. The predictometer has improved a little over the last couple of days though, Reese.
Yeah, it certainly has.
It did a very, very good job of predicting the race distance for today's OEC. It predicted 190, it ended up on 186, so not too bad. I'm going to give it 9 out of 10 for that. Interesting to see if anyone decides to jump into the pits this time around and get damage repaired, or get some fresh tyres or anything like that, and top the car up with fuel when this safety car comes past the start-finish line.
Only coming up to the 10-minute mark of this race now, Jay. And in about 5 minutes' time, I do have a question prepared.
Ooh, I like it, I like it.
Yeah.
Good to see the pace car driver still doesn't know how to handle Forest Salvo. He decides to drive through the brick wall. That's always good, or through the concrete wall, I should say.
Wouldn't be the iRacing pace car driver if a little bit of metaphysical shenanigans didn't happen.
Well, I'm just going to say it may be just pace car drivers in sim racing games anyway, because I've seen some video totally unrelated of Formula 1 2017 where the pace car driver loops it at Circuit of the Americas. Quite funny watching that. So cars will actually be in second place, and the leader will check up for the pace car that's looped it, and they'll pass the pace car and get black flags, and then all of a sudden they're leading the race, and all sorts of weird bugs like that. So it must be a pace car thing that sim racing games should not have pace cars. But anyway.
Yeah. Of course, it's all new technology, and there's only so much you can tell a computer to do before it starts throwing its hands up in frustration. But so far, the pace car's looking pretty good down Conrod Straight and through the chase.
Look, it's done a much better job navigating the last part of the track as opposed to what it did across the top of the mountain. Hit the wall a couple of times, but it's made it the whole way down. We'll see if anyone dives into the pitch. A couple of guys might come and get some damage fixed, but doesn't look like anyone at the front of the field will.
Looks like Daniel Stevens and Alex Greenwood are coming in to take repairs.
Not surprised with Daniel Stevens. He got a fairly decent hit from the incident with Griffin Gardner, and Alex Greenwood also had a little bit of damage as well from his issue he had earlier in the race. They get their quick repair, so fresh car for both those guys, and out they go again. That's close enough to 30 minutes. We might as well do the next question on this pace lap, I reckon, Reese.
Yeah, sure. All right. Just noting down the people who have answered the previous question.
Good job.
At least in the YouTube chat. I can't speak for the Facebook live stream, but the next question, composed by myself, completely off the top of my head. Who has won races in this season other than Josh Muggleton? So you have to think back a few rounds. I'm looking for full names here. I won't say how many won races other than Muggo. You've got to get them all.
So comment your answers in the YouTube chat or the Facebook chat if you're watching on our live stream on Facebook. I'll be in the running.
I was going to ask what races they won, but
Don't push it too
I
far.
think that would have been too cruel.
I think you're right. Biggest mover in the race at the moment is tied between David Coleman and Corey Ott, both up 5 places from their starting positions.
Yep, of course, they're in the running for $25 in iRacing credits from the event organisers for the Hard Charger Award. So the lights on the pace car are out, so we'll be in at the end of this lap and we'll be able to go racing once again.
It's going to be interesting to see when Muggleton decides to go, when the pace car decides to actually leave the track.
Yes, of course, it's under Muggleton's control once the safety car peels off the racetrack.
I'm going to guess he'll wait right until just on the apex of Murray's Corner and then he'll go. But you never know, he might hold it right until the start line. Always
Yeah,
interesting
we'll see.
strategy plays. Good to see Mark McDonald doing the Bo Albert trick of a few flashing headlights. Well, of course, not racing the Porsche Carrera Cup anymore. He's moved on to the GT3 and GTE cars.
Yep. Of course, when you're competing at the level that someone like Bo Albert is, you want to dedicate as much time as possible to the cars that you're going to be most successful in. But Muggleton now assumes control of the field. We'll see when he goes. And it looks like he has decided to go just out of the edge of the Murrays, and there's a big
pile up of cars.
Whoa.
Someone went way too early. And
Yeah, good to
oh,
see.
they're crashing
no!
on the front
Big,
straight.
huge
Griffin
crash.
Gardner,
Griffin Gardner and Wayne Pendley, and who else is around there? That's
Daniel Stevens.
yeah. What on earth happened to Stevens?
That was strange. Now, Griffin Gardner started that with a big move at the restart. He went way before, and there was a big chain reaction as well, which started behind, I think that was Andrew Stokes.
So I'm just gonna quickly have a look here at what happened to Daniel Stevens. Oh, I see what happened.
There's a bit of a checkup, and then
Yeah, Stuart Hall slowing down to try and avoid the incident between Gardner and Pendley, and Stevens just went straight into the back of Mr. Hall. Looks like no safety car for that though.
no, they're going to continue on green, which I think is a good idea. And have a look at Healy on the back of Larnack here. Mark McDonald giving a little bit of a headlight flash into the back of Michael Healy as well. So pressure starting to be applied by Mark McDonald and Michael Healy on Scott Larnack.
Yeah, this battle here for the top 5 is very entertaining to watch right now. Mark Dean versus David Coleman might be a factor at some point, though. But as they come down into the chase, here's Larnack going to the inside. Isn't quite able to get it done on Gary Hamilton.
No,
McDonald
not
stays
quite
behind
there.
Healy.
And what that's done is enabled Muggleton to pull out a second already on Hamilton with that little bit of an attempted move or a bit of a fake move from Larnack onto Hamilton. It's enabled Muggleton to pull away as Hamilton had to probably defend a little bit more than he needed to.
Yeah, certainly. Well, the race is still continuing on in Muggleton's favour. Hamilton still holding fast in second place. Ott versus Stokes for the top 10, coming down to Griffins. But that battle for second to fifth is really where it's at right now.
Yeah, it's a good battle right now. In behind Gary Hamilton. Hamilton, Larnack, Healy and McDonald, second through fourth. And big moment. Healy had a big slide coming up the hill and he's clipped the wall pretty hard this time. And McDonald looks to take advantage now.
Yeah, going down through the S's. McDonald just brushing the wall.
.26 minutes left on the clock.
Muggleton's basically checked out. Doesn't look like any of these guys will be challenging him anytime soon unless there is another safety car. Muggleton doing everything he needs to do right now to secure this championship. Larnack, once again, stuck behind Gary Hamilton. In a very frustrating position for him, I would assume.
Now just crunching the numbers while I was a little bit quiet there for a second. Muggleton wins, Larnack third. Larnack wins by 1 point.
Oh, okay, so Larnack
this is really important, this position right now. So Healy on the back of Larnack is potentially for who wins the championship.
Yeah, for sure. And I mean, Gary Hamilton has not quite been able to shake Larnack, but having said that, Mark McDonald and Michael Healy, Healy's just let him through.
Yep. So Healy may have some damage here and thinks that he might not have the pace to get Larnack. Thinks McDonald may have.
So now McDonald is the spanner in the works here.
It's been an issue for Corey Ott. He's looped it and lost a lot of ground. He's in the pits. So Corey Ott, who was in the running potentially for that hard charger award, that's done. David Coleman now up 6 positions. He's up in the 7th position. And he's on the point for the money at the moment. McDonald's got some great pace.
Yeah, he certainly has. Larnack has dropped off from Hamilton over the top. Looks like he's got a little bit of damage to the front right. So this could be championship changing material right here. Having said that, if Hamilton makes a mistake, Hamilton has had a couple of run-ins with the wall. He's got some right-hand side damage on his car. He may make another mistake at some point down the line, and that would allow Larnack through to second. And then he would be safe, but as it stands, it seems Hamilton's holding ground, and McDonald has really got some pace here.
Yeah, he's right on the charge right now. Thinks about making a move up the inside. Won't be able to do it into the chase, but is making Larnack use a lot of the road and possibly can capitalise right now into Murray's corner. Will he make a move? Not quite close enough up. McDonald's applying the right amount of pressure right now, and that's enabling both Muggleton and Hamilton to check out.
Yeah, certainly is. At the line, the gap between Hamilton and Larnack was 1.1 seconds, or thereabouts.
Yep.
So
Last lap time for Larnack a 2:07.5 versus McDonald a 2:07.2 and Healy a 2:08.2. So Healy's out of this now, I think. Healy's done. But Gary Hamilton 2:06.9. He's the fastest driver on track at the moment.
yep, Hamilton with the 2:06.9, and McDonald still applying pressure to Larnack. See how they go over the top here. It's very hard to follow a car or over the top here. McDonald will be looking past Larnack, just having looks at every opportunity he can, try and pick the line. Oh, McDonald! Don't know if he clipped the wall there.
Sounded
Looks
like he
he's,
did, but
yeah, he's fallen back from Larnack slightly here. So this is going to work out in Larnack's favour here.
yep, right on the halfway point of the race. 22.5 minutes left in this 45-minute race. They'll come down Conrod for the 9th time.
Yep, a very reduced lap count from what would have been completed had the race gone all green, just because of the sheer length of the lap around here.
Yeah, about 4.5 minutes in time it takes under safety car, as the predictometer now says we're going to have 18 laps, which is a little bit closer to what I'm expecting as we reach the halfway point. 10 laps done, or 9 laps complete.
Hamilton's starting to slip up. He
Yep.
just went a little wide in hell, and then on the exit, bit of oversteer. So Larnack will have seen that.
And McDonald's not far away from catching back up to Larnack again too. So this is going to be a really good battle. Oh, Larnack thought about making a big lunge right at the last moment. Glad he thought better of it, because that would have been disastrous.
Yeah, certainly would have. Griffin's is one of those corners where it's really tempting to fling one up the inside, but it doesn't always work. In fact, it has a very low chance of working, especially at this stage in a race.
There's not much, especially for Larnack in the situation he's in. I mean, I think he's starting to feel a bit of pressure behind, but it's risk versus reward for him. He's got to just try and hold that 3rd position. If he can do that,
Yep.
it's a 1-point win.
Yep, that's all he needs to do right now in order to take the championship. So the best thing to do for Larnack would be not to get too excited behind Gary Hamilton.
Oh, big luck up for Hamilton. And
Yeah.
Larnack almost followed him too. Sometimes when a driver ahead locks up, you can sort of get caught out a little bit by it and follow the car ahead through into the same mistake. But McDonald looks like he's capitalised, but not quite the pace down Conrad Straight. Larnack's got that at the moment. And he's catching
Yeah, look
up.
at the draft.
Yeah, big advantage here for Larnack.
Yep, and he goes to the inside of the chase, but thinks better of it once again, and McDonald behind them runs wide, possibly in response to Larnack changing lines in the braking zone.
Slight little distraction there for McDonald, and now lost a little bit of ground. Larnack now taking it, or attempting to take advantage over Gary Hamilton. We start lap number 11. 20 minutes left on the clock.
Yep, and it looks like Scott Larnack has finally been able to shake Mark McDonald, and he's really pressuring Gary Hamilton now for 2nd place.
Oh, that was a
goodness me.
massive moment for Larnack.
That almost was the end of Larnack's race right there. That wall on the exit of the cutting It gets the best of us.
That's heart attack stuff there. It would have been a big gulp to come through the cutting and now up the mountain, because Larnack nearly race over. As we just seen David Coleman into the fence. He was on track for our hard charger wall. His race done.
Yeah, David Coleman, big shame for him. Not quite sure what happened to him. Looks like he had some front end damage before his incident, but then he did what
Exactly what Larnack nearly did.
Yes. So if you want to have a look at what might have happened to Scott Larnack had he been a couple of millimeters more to the left, just have a look at David Coleman.
Yep.
Very unfortunate for car number 64.
Down Conrad Straight we come, on board with Mark McDonald, hunting down Larnack and Hamilton. McDonald definitely has some pace here. He's just not quite able to capitalise at the right spots. You just see Larnack on the brakes early in the chase.
Again, yeah, moving in the braking zone to try and get the best line through the corner. Doesn't want to get compromised in any way, because that will let McDonald through. Oh, and Larnack already having another look up the inside of Murray's, but thinks better of it.
Yeah,
At this point, he's just putting the pressure on Hamilton, trying to pressure him into a mistake.
Yep, and I think Larnack doesn't really want to make a move, but what he wants to do is apply enough pressure so that McDonald doesn't try and make a move behind. Because if Larnack goes for a move, makes a mistake, that could be championship over. If he pretends to make a move, attempts to make a move, forces a mistake, well, that helps him seal the championship. In saying that, they've caught Muggleton because he's made a mistake on the last lap. The gap between Hamilton and Muggleton is down to 8/10 of a second. Larnack up the inside. Big late move.
Yep, he's going to do it, and it looks like he might be able to maintain it on the exit.
Yep, he does, and now Hamilton is under pressure from Mark McDonald, who's got very, very good pace at the moment. Muggleton looks like he's slowing down.
Yeah, very interesting turn of events here at Mount Panorama now. Once again, round 9 of the Porsche Carrera Cup Australia Championship presented by Sim Racing Bay. Larnack is now in second place. Josh Muggleton looks like he's gapping him slightly. So Muggleton back on track once again.
Come down through the S's into the Dipper. Got about 10 laps left in this race. Thereabouts. Maybe less. Probably 9 laps left, I'm going to guess. Oh, big hit in the wall for Hamilton. And McDonald followed him in there. So they're both hit the wall.
So that's given Larnack a nice bit of breathing room right there.
Get a Cup Race Racing replay that, because that was a big hit for Hamilton. Not quite as big for McDonald, but Healy's been able to catch up as well. So I'm wondering if Muggo was trying to check up to try and bring Healy back into this fight, just to try and help him out with this championship battle.
Oh, McDonald has gone by Hamilton here at the exit of the chase.
That's a big move, because McDonald had great pace on Larnack. Yeah, but there's a big gap that McDonald's got to catch up to get back up to Larnack. So as it stands right now, Larnack wins the championship by 5 points.
And as it stands, it looks like Josh Muggleton is the only car in the top 5 without any damage.
Yep. Larnack, probably the best looking car out of the rest of the field, but a little bit of damage to the front right of that car. McDonald, his car's looking a little bit worse for wear in the rear. Gary Hamilton's looks completely second hand. And Michael Healy's doesn't look too crash hot either.
Yeah, certainly doesn't. All of those cars with some damage. So Larnack at this stage, it probably wouldn't be wise to try and chase down Muggleton. Larnack has got the championship sorted now. All he has to do is stay on the black stuff, stay out of trouble.
And he's pulling a gap on McDonald, Hamilton and Healy as well. So that's a big positive in his favour right now, is he just has to do lap times time trial style now against Muggleton. Just stick with him. If he pulls a couple of tenths a lap, it doesn't really matter too much, but he's definitely pulling a gap on Mark McDonald behind. It's out to 2.3 seconds and growing quite quickly down Conrod Straight.
It definitely is, and it looks like Healy versus Hamilton is staying pretty stable for 4th place. Oh, Hamilton, really aggressive over the curbs coming into the chase. I'm surprised he didn't loop it.
Yeah, he's trying to get something out of the car that's not quite there. He's really trying to work hard to try and get back up into that top 3, but as it stands right now, he's got nothing in regards to pace to match it with Muggleton and Larnack and McDonald ahead. So he's going to have to think a little bit wiser about what he does. 13 minutes left on the clock.
And that means that the 30-minute mark has passed, so it might be time for the 3rd question, Jay.
I think that would be a great idea if you got it.
Nope.
No, neither. All right, who started on pole for the first ever race in Carrera Cup Australia Season 2?
Yep, that sounds like a pretty good question.
Oh, sorry, Season 1. Season 1. We'll go with Season 1.
Season 1?
Season 1, who started on pole in the first ever race in Porsche Carrera Cup Australia that we broadcast way back in, I think it was February.
Yeah. God, I'm gonna have to look back for that. I actually can't remember myself.
It's in the Discord chat, brother.
Ah.
I cheated. Thank you to Cameron Dance for being our resident statistician and question holder. 12 minutes left on the clock. So around about 7 laps left in this race. If we go 2 minutes a lap by 7, that would equal... Nah, that's not really right, is it? 6.5 laps left anyway. Oh, Muggleton's hit the wall!
Oh, whoa, no, okay.
That was a big moment at Forest Elbow. Ran a little bit wide and definitely made contact with the right of the car at Forest Elbow into that wall that has caught out the best of drivers over the years.
So now that means that every car in the top 5 is damaged in some way.
Car actually looks like it's got out of it not too badly.
In fact, it looks like the cleanest car on track right now is Mark Dean in 7th place.
And that's what he's been doing the entire season, is keeping it clean, keeping out of trouble, and he's on track right now for a top 5 in the championship.
Yeah, for sure. Other clean-looking cars out there, Corey Ott, Wayne Pingilly and Gene Fitties, but they have the advantage of, I think at least a couple of them took repairs under safety car. Hamilton versus Healy is really heating up right now.
It's a great battle as it stands right now. So there'll be 6 laps left in this race, so we'll finish on lap 21. 11 minutes left on the clock, so there'll be 6 circuits of this Mount Panorama Tourist Drive. Possibly 5. No, they're doing quicker laps, so it'll be 6 laps left.
Alright, well, it looks like Muggleton hasn't quite gapped Larnack as much as I suspected he would since his incident, so Muggleton's probably just in conserve mode as well.
Yep. All he's got to do is finish first, and the rest that happens behind is left to fate for him. All he can do is win the race and get the most points he can, but the drop rounds are definitely hurt, and the one that got away at VIR as well has potentially changed this championship, which was our question from earlier. So missed the first question that we were doing for $25 giveaway. What was the reason for the penalty in the VIR race for Josh Muggleton? Second question was, name every race winner in this championship this season other than Josh Muggleton. And the third question for $25 as well is...
Who was on pole in the first ever Porsche Carrera Cup Australia race in Season 1. So, not in this season, the season before.
Which I think we had like 110 drivers turn up for, which was absolutely amazing. Now, so we are just hearing from series admin George Johnson. He's having computer issues, so he's unfortunately had to leave the admin side of it. So the drivers are out there by themselves, which means no more safety cars. As Muggleton does the fastest lap of the race at 2:06.2, and Warwick Brown in the pits. Warwick Brown was battling with Mark Dean, and he's got massive damage.
Yeah, wow, that's not a very good end to his race at all.
So Mark Dean now moves up to 6th position. Corey Ott and Andrew Stokes both +5, so they're now in the running for the Hard Charger Award.
They certainly are, and just having a look at Warwick Brown, it looks like just before the rise at McPhillamy, he got into the wall, so
Unlucky.
that's the reason for his incident. In all fairness to him, it's a very easy thing to do around here, especially in that car.
Yep, it's very, very easy. It's a tough track, a tough car, add them together, and it's a bit of a lethal weapon, which we'll see next weekend in the V8 Supercar Online Premier Series Bathurst 1000. Looking forward to it, Reese. I'm looking forward to 161 laps of chaos, mayhem, and I don't know what else. I don't know what other superlatives to add into that. Can't even say superlatives properly, but anyway.
Bathurst is the race with everything. Oh, Muggleton, goodness me. Had a bit of drama there lapping David Coleman. Had to go off the track a bit there. Not quite sure what happened. Yeah,
he actually went to go and get some draft, and I think he may have just swerved a little bit too aggressively to try and get around.
Oh, goodness me, that was very close.
Corey Ott now at the moment leading the Hard Charger Award, +6 positions. I was nearly right with my guess of 110 entries for round 1. Thank you, Cam. 113 entries there were for round 1 of Porsche Carrera Cup Australia way back in late January, early February from memory. It was just when I was getting back into broadcasting once again.
And what a roller coaster ride it's been since then, Jay.
Doing all sorts of things since then. Giving away prize money. When did we think we'd ever do that?
Yeah, this is I'm still trying to process that. It's pretty cool.
It's pretty cool.
But thank you everyone in the broadcast chat for answering the questions, and we'll be sorting out a few winners after the race finishes.
And if you are in the YouTube chat and you know the answers to the questions because you watch, and you're not an iRacing member, we'll see what we can do for you.
Yeah, we certainly will.
We might have a free account promo code we can give away as well.
Yes. Indeed.
How's that? How's that for a prize? Who wants a free iRacing sub for 3 months for free? We'll do that with a $25 credit if they are the person that's drawn out and they don't have an iRacing account. We'll give them a sub as well.
Awesome. So if you know the answers to the questions, be sure to answer them. Reminder.
Hamilton nearly, a big hit in the fence. Had
Ouch.
a big lock-up coming into the elbow. Big moment on the exit of the elbow. Hit the wall very hard, and I don't think he'll be able to hold off from Healy here.
Yeah, nah, Healy's going right alongside. He's going to have the inside for the kink of the chase. In fact, he's actually by before the chase is even a factor. So that's Michael Healy then through to 4th place, and Gary Hamilton from starting 3rd down to 4th after running 2nd for much of the race. Not a good result for him, but, well, I say that, but I'd be happy with 4th.
I'll be happy to be competitive with any of these drivers in this field. So 15th would do me. I'm absolutely useless at the best of times. Chuck me in the Porsche and I'm absolutely hopeless. We're going to do 20 laps in this race, so 3 to go.
Little bit of an update on Larnack. He had a bit of drama in Murray's Corner at the end of lap 17. Looks like he just caught the grass on entry, slid through, and had a little bit of a lawn mowing trip on the exit. So he's fallen back from Muggleton a fair way, but still, McDonald is far enough behind that Larnack doesn't have to worry.
You guys that don't have iRacing accounts, make sure you answer the questions, and we'll chuck all the names in a hat. And if you win the prize and you don't have an iRacing sub, we'll get you an iRacing account and $25 in credit to get you up and running. So we see Gary Hamilton try and hunt back down Michael Healy, but really struggling. That car's crabbing a little bit too, so it's going to be quite tough for Hamilton to try and get any speed.
It certainly will. Just a reminder for the viewers who may have just joined us. Our 3 questions are, number 1, Josh Muggleton got a black flag at the round at Virginia International Raceway. What was the reason he got the black flag? Question 2 was, who won races in this championship apart from Josh Muggleton in this season? And the 3rd question is, who was the pole sitter for the first ever Porsche Carrera Cup Australia race in Season 1, back at the start of the year? So those are your 3 questions.
And of course, there's $25 in iRacing credits up for grabs for someone who subscribes to our mailing list between 10 o'clock Australian Eastern Standard Time this morning until the end of the broadcast. We'll announce that one on our Facebook page after the broadcast concludes, but we'll give the 3 prizes that we've got for the questions out before we end the broadcast tonight.
Yep, we certainly will. Be sure to like V8s Online on Facebook while you're at it. Keep updated with our broadcast schedules and be notified when we go live. So Josh Muggleton over 4 seconds in the lead now. And Larnack is sitting all right for 2nd place.
That could change at any second the way that this mountain bites, though.
Oh, it certainly could.
But Larnack doing everything he needs to consolidate and take this championship as it stands right now. It's going to take something bizarre, I think is the right word, for Larnack to not take the championship win as it stands. But it is the mountain. Anything can, does, and possibly will happen. We never know.
Yep, certainly. And update on the Healy v Hamilton battle. It looks like Healy hasn't quite managed to shake him.
Alex Greenwood's hit the fence at Forest Elbow.
Oh, yeah.
Stuck up against the wall.
Oh, yeah. Just got loose over the crest coming into the braking zone. Wasn't able to recover it. Spun a couple of times and then found himself wedged in the tyre bundles. So I believe this will be white flag for Muggleton, if I'm correct.
40 seconds left on the clock, so this will be the last lap of the race. The predictometer saying there's still 2 to go, but there's definitely not. This is the final lap. Muggleton just set the fastest lap of the race then too, as well as 6.1. Full 1.5 seconds quicker than Larnack behind. Did the exact same lap time, Larnack and McDonald. Healy and Hamilton are still going at it. I'm surprised Hamilton's as quick as he is.
Yeah. That is quite surprising. I would have thought that he dropped off by a fair margin, but apparently not.
Oh, I thought that car was way too damaged to have any sort of pace, but he's doing...
Hamilton in Griffins. He's really pushing hard here on the last lap. This is his last opportunity to grab 4th place, salvage 4th place from what has been a race of what could have beens for Gary Hamilton. We've got a car slowing down over the top of the hill, letting cars by. That's Daniel Stevens.
Muggleton on to Conrod Straight though for the final time. And another dominant performance. One little slip up, but all in all he's been just too quick for everyone once again.
Yeah, that certainly is the case. Muggleton, honestly, if it weren't for him missing those few races, he would undoubtedly be the champion, but looks like he's going to have Scott Larnack take the honours for the championship here. But Josh Muggleton through Murray's corner for the final time this season. He's going to cross the line to take the win in the final round of Carrera Cup Australia. But coming through Murray's corner, your champion, Scott Larnack. An excellent performance from him once again. And he was just there all season, able to pick up the pieces when Muggleton wasn't present. A very deserved championship win.
Well done to Larnack. Congratulations also to Mark McDonald for a great drive for third. And well done to Muggo. Fastest lap of the race on the final lap too. Always good when drivers can manage to do that. But Hard Charger Award will go to Corey Ott. So well done to him for picking that one up. He's just coming across the top of the mountain. Plus 6 places for him in this one. So he will pick up that award as long as he can finish the race.
Yeah, well, he's making his way down to Forest Elbow now. There's still a few opportunities for it to slip out of his fingers, but I don't think that will happen. Coming down Conrad Straight from 16th to 10th. Very nice run from Corey Ott in spite of incidents earlier on.
So Corey Ott
Muggleton...
Sorry, just going to say Corey Ott, second to last driver to cross the finish line. He's over in 10th. Gene Fiddies will be the last driver across the line. But Muggo's still absolutely destroying those Michelins.
He certainly is, leaving a big cloud of smoke there on Mountain Straight. Yeah, sure is.
Let's turn it into a donut. We'll run through the race results though, because they are now complete. Muggleton from Larnack, then Mark McDonald third, Michael Healy in fourth position, Gary Hamilton fifth, Mark Dean, great drive from him, he'll finish fifth in the championship, finishes sixth in this race. Warwick Brown next, then Andrew Stokes, Stuart Hall, Corey Ott round out the top 10.
Gene Fiddies is going to be the last car on the lead lap, finishing in 11th place. The first car a lap down, Daniel Stevens, then Alex Greenwood in 13th. David Coleman, Wayne Pendley, Griffin Gardner, and Michael Hammond are your retirees in this race. Oh, well, after that, what a brilliant race to end the season, and what a brilliant season full stop.
It's been an absolutely awesome season. I'm sure there's already plans in the works for season 3 coming up in the next little bit, but this has been absolutely thoroughly enjoyable for us to broadcast and for the drivers as well. So big thanks to Sim Racing Bay as well for their support of the series. Now, before we get the drivers in for a quick interview, the drivers or the people who have entered through our website: Mark Bampton, Darren McKenzie, Cameron Dance, Cam, you're ineligible, sorry mate. Sean Slater, David Coleman, Corey Ott, Blair Walton, Dylan Smith, Isaac Edwards, Michael Trooper, Isaac Nichols, and Paul Gray. So we will announce on the Facebook page who wins that prize after the race concludes. So we get ready for drivers to come in for an interview. We might do the prizes now. Will we do the prizes now? Yeah. Let's do the prizes
I think that's
now.
a good idea.
While we wait for the drivers to come in. So question 1, which was, why was the penalty awarded to Josh Muggleton at VIR? Sorry, Muggo, for bringing it back up when you watch this back. But, of course, it was for passing the safety car before it had entered the pits. So, Steve Hoppett, congratulations to you for winning that prize.
Yep. And question 2, who won the races not won by Josh Muggleton? Brenton O'Brien was the only person to answer all 3 drivers. That was Scott Larnack, Bo Albert, and Jake Maloney, who took victory. other than Muggleton in the championship. So Brenton O'Brien is going to pick up the $25 iRacing credit prize for that.
And the third question was, who started from pole in the first ever Porsche Carrera Cup Australia race way back when? Big congratulations to Darren McKenzie, who got that question correct. The answer was Josh Rogers. No, sorry, Jared Filsell. Jared Filsell was pole. Sorry, Josh Rogers won the race. Josh Rogers won the race, and Jared Filsell started from
was
pole.
The pole man. So,
and out of those names we read out before, we will draw that once the broadcast concludes, because there's still time for people to jump on to the website and join the mailing list, and then we will draw someone out as soon as the broadcast ends, and we'll post that up on our Facebook page, who has won the $25 in iRacing credits. And for those guys that don't have membership, send us a message on the Facebook page and we'll see what we can do for you. See if we can tee someone up with a free membership. We'll see what we can do. No guarantees, but we'll try.
We certainly will. And it looks like Josh Muggleton has just popped in for an interview, so I think it would be pertinent to drag him up. Josh Muggleton, congratulations on yet another dominant win in Carrera Cup Australia.
Yeah, thanks, guys. That was an interesting race. I knew the championship situation. I needed Scott to finish fourth, I think, and myself to win it. So the first half of the race, I was just trying to keep Gary in my slipstream because I knew if I left him, he'd be a sitting duck to let Scotty pass. So then the safety car came out. I thought, you beauty, here we go. There'll be something interesting here. But then once Scotty got past, I tried to leave him in my slipstream to try and give him some aero wash across the top, but he just drove too well. He was too solid. So then after that, I just pushed on after he made a mistake, and I think I tried to set the fastest lap on the last lap.
You did that, mate. You did well. We like it
when
you did it by a tenth, so well done.
Yeah.
Interesting season though for you. Obviously, made it a little bit hard with your real life racing commitments to not be able to compete in every round, but all in all, pretty dominant performance in the races that you turned up to. I think there's only really the one slip up.
Yeah, that one race at VIR, and I think there was one at Imola as well. I just had two shockers there. But yeah, the rest of the time was good. Yeah, this car really suits me and my driving style. But yeah, like you said, I missed a few key rounds there due to real life commitments, and one of those I think was that accident that I had. So yeah, that was pretty unavoidable. But yeah, all in all, a good season. Big congrats to Scotty for his consistency. That's what wins championships. So well done to him. And big thanks to my sponsors in Harrop and Hybrid Racing Simulations and Custom Image. So yeah, thanks to them.
Before we let you go, hearing rumours that you're not racing in V8 Scops next weekend.
That rumor would be correct. Yeah, I'm going on a holiday. I'll be over the pond in NZ for that week. So yeah, unfortunately, I won't be able to help Jared out there. We're trying to sort out a replacement to help his championship and keep that rolling along. But I'll be back for Road Atlanta.
Yeah, I was going to put my hand up, but then you said help, so I knew that wouldn't be any good if I put my hand up. But, well done, Muggo, and we'll no doubt see you the next time we're out on track for Porsche Carrera Cup Australia.
Awesome. Thanks very much, guys.
Thanks, Muggo.
That was Josh Muggleton, the race winner for the final round of Carrera Cup Australia. But in the commentary box now, we have the series champion for 2017 Season 2, Scott Larnack. Scott, how good do those words sound?
Good, pretty good. Yeah, coming into this round, obviously, I just had to keep a cool head, and the final being at Bathurst and Muggo, just have to keep it off the walls. And I think if Muggo won, yeah, I just had to keep in third place, and that was it to seal the deal.
Wasn't as easy as you would have liked. It was a pretty intense battle you had there with Gary Hamilton, and you had Mark McDonald on your tail all race, but it definitely wasn't as easy as you were hoping.
Yeah, for sure. At the I was actually a little bit concerned about Healy as well at the start, and I knew that Josh was doing some Lewis Hamilton tricks. I could see him from where I was, but yeah, Hamilton made a bit of a mistake And then I had some pressure from O'Donnell as well. So I just had to keep my head down and keep focused and stay out of the walls and not be a passenger.
Now, championship win, obviously, as we said. Is this a first big championship win for yourself?
The very first championship or series that I did was the actual V8 Dev series, which is one of the ones I won. But I haven't hopped in the V8 until last weekend, so I had to relearn how to drive after driving the Porsche. So yeah, it is sweet. Would have liked to taken it to Josh on Bathurst in the final, but yeah, had to be told to cool it down. Going into Murray's Corner, I had to change my underpants there.
There was a little bit of a moment there. We saw a bit of a lawn mowing moment going on.
Yeah, I thought the grass looked a bit high, so I wanted to just to clip it a little bit.
Well, nonetheless, Scott, coming off the back of this championship victory, you obviously must be looking forward to the next iteration of Porsche Carrera Cup Australia.
Yeah, for sure. I think now what I guess the main goal for me was to start focusing on GT3s and start striving for that, try and get that pro license. Obviously, it's a long way for me and I have to relearn how to drive again, but we've got a good team in Evolution Racing team and a bunch of good guys that are absolutely brilliant with the tuning and giving good advice, setup tips, etc. So yeah, we'll see what happens from here. Obviously, next weekend's Bathurst, so Blake Neck and myself will have another crack at that, and yeah, we'll see where we go from there.
Well, congratulations. Excellent. Yes, sorry, Reese. Congratulations on a great series win. I guess you probably need to thank some people, though, before we let you go.
Yeah, for sure. Thanks. So yeah, I'd like to make a thanks to obviously all the VRT, the support, especially Andrew going in this round. He gave me a bit of a hand in tuning the car, which was good. And obviously our fantastic sponsors, Logitech G and Joe Real Timing. Obviously, I'd like to extend the thanks to George Johnson for putting on the series. It was actually quite a fun series. He's put a lot of time and his own sort of money into the series, so it's good to see it to be so successful. And obviously the support of Sim Racing Bay, and of course, and last but not least, V8's Online for your brilliant broadcasting.
Thank you very much, Scott. And well, I suppose we'll be talking to you again very soon.
For sure. Thanks, guys.
Thanks, Scott.
Your series champion, Jay, Scott Larnack. Excellent performance from him all through the season, but now next driver we'll interview will be our third place finisher, Mark McDonald. And Mark, well, that was certainly an eventful race for you. You were right in the thick of it.
Hey guys, yeah, that was a blast. It was coming to Bathurst is always really stressful. It is a track that probably everyone has crashed into the wall more than once. I am an expert at hitting walls going up the mountain. So I tried to get in as much practice as possible and just be prepared. After qualifying, I was like a second off of the top four there. So once we got into the race, I was kind of pleasantly surprised that I could stick with Michael and with Gary and Scott, and it looked like Muggo was just gonna kind of check out from us, and then there was that competition caution, which I think, or well, I don't know if it was a competition caution or if it was somebody had an accident.
No, it was a
I
legit
didn't
one,
actually
actually.
hear. Well, I hadn't heard, but didn't surprise me at all. And as soon as it was thrown, I was like, man, I shouldn't have filled up my gas tank. I didn't need as much fuel. So that got real stressful, on the restart, and everyone was super close. And then kind of the story of my race is just I didn't hit the wall as much as other guys hit the wall. Healy hit the wall a little bit, Hamilton hit the wall, and I got to stay right on Scott's bumper, trying to stick with him. But as soon as we both got by Hamilton, he just checked out, like a second a lap, which is about right. That's about how much faster he is around here than me. But it was a blast. The entire series. All the races that I could make, I always had fun. It's really stiff competition and really fair competition too. So lots of thanks to George, to both of you guys for doing the broadcast, and to Sim Racing Bay as well, for sponsoring us. It was just a blast. It's probably my favorite uh, hosted series, league that I've been a part of with iRacing. So I really appreciate it.
That's excellent to hear, Mark. Thank you very much for the kind words, and I'm sure George appreciates it as well. It looks like with that third place finish here in the final round, you're certainly going to vault up the championship standings, because there's a few people in front of you who did not compete in this race or finished below you. So that's certainly going to work out nicely for you in the end.
You might nearly get
Awesome.
just outside the top 10. I think 11th, by the looks of it.
Well, that's awesome. I wasn't after missing even the first race. Kind of my story of the season. I saw the first race on your guys' broadcast, and I was like, wow, there's like 40 Porsches going around Phillip Island, I think. So I definitely want to get in that. And luckily, I'm kind of an early riser here in Chicago. It's still dark outside, of course. But since then, I'm just making as many races as I can. So wasn't really running for a championship or anything. But it's nice that we could put together something that's close to the top 10.
And will we see you next season?
That's my hope. I don't know exactly when it's starting. Maybe in January or whatever. We'll see. We'll see what my schedule can provide. We're expecting a little one on the way, so I probably will not be sleeping for a long time, and then I'll show up to the races exhausted. But we'll see if I can make some.
Well, hopefully we get the chance to talk to you again, Mark, next season in the Porsche Carrera Cup Australia Championship. Thank you very much for joining us once again.
Cheers, guys. Take care.
Congratulations, mate. Well done.
Mark McDonald, your third place finisher at the final round of the championship in Bathurst. And the final driver that we are going to interview tonight is Corey Ott of Proforce Racing. Corey, congratulations. You are 25 iRacing credits richer. You got the Hard Charger Award.
Oh, that's very wonderful. Thank you very much.
Now, pressure's on you here, mate. You're in the commentary box now, so none of that normal potty mouth stuff you normally do when you're hanging around when I'm streaming stuff. But that was actually a pretty entertaining race for you. I saw you had to duck into the pits with a little bit of damage, but you got it back out there and managed to gain a few spots right at the end.
Oh, that little dip into the pits wasn't really for a little damage. I actually
Oh no, it was for a lot.
I through the Fujitsu after the cutting, I clipped the inside wall and went through a very spectacular what would I call it, black blue moment 3 times. So she was really out of whack. The car didn't really look really chassis, nor was the steering, so I had to bring it into the pits. But very, very wonderful actually to be top 10 after that little accident.
No, you did very well, mate. So congratulations. Don't talk yourself down. You did well.
Thank you.
Well, nonetheless, Corey, I'm having a look through the standings here, and I can't see you anywhere. Oh, there you are in 8th place before this round. So looks like there won't be much shuffling there. You're almost guaranteed a top 10 in the series at the end of the season. So how do you feel about that?
I feel very, very amazing because this series was actually the first hosted series I did back when it started at Phillip Island, and I was very amazed to have a top 20 finish there, and then to continue on, and then to get multiple top 10s during the whole season. I'm just amazed. I'm absolutely amazed.
So will this carry over into next season? Are you thinking of doing the next season?
That's something to think about for another day, but at the moment, not really. I really want to focus on the GT stuff and OEC and all that. So it's a possibility, yes, but not really at the moment.
All right. Well, here's hoping that we can talk to you again in the V8's online commentary booth, be it in Carrera Cup Australia or somewhere else. Corey, thank you for joining us.
Yes, thank you very much.
Well done, Corey. Well done, mate.
Well, that is Corey Ott, our final interviewee for the night, and winner of the Hard Charger Award. $25 in iRacing credits will go to him as a result of starting 16th and finishing 10th in that final round. Well, Jay, it's the end of Porsche Carrera Cup Australia for 2017 season 2, and what a season it was.
I'm actually a little bit sad because it's like a school kid that's grown up and now it's headed out of home, moved out of home. It's turned 18. No, moving out of home, it's going away for a little while. So hopefully it'll be back very soon. It's been, as we have said many, many times before, it has been the most fun series that we have broadcast. The different formats we've had in pretty much every race, the different winners we've had, the way the field's always been mixed up, the curveballs that have been thrown, the shootout qualifying. We have loved it. We have loved bringing it to you, and we will miss it for the little bit of time it's away, but hopefully it won't be gone for too long.
Yeah, here's hoping. It was certainly an epic season, to be sure, and I can't wait to see it start up again. And hopefully there's more of the same, because with these different formats, it's just been a brilliant championship to watch, brilliant championship to commentate, and yeah, I don't think anything more really needs to be said, eh?
No, I agree 100%. It's been an absolute pleasure to bring it to you every week that it's been on for the last few weekends. We've been live every other weekend pretty much with Carrera Cup Australia. So it's been great for the last few weeks with this series. So big congratulations to George Johnson, and big thanks to Sim Racing Bay for their support behind the scenes. And it's been thoroughly enjoyable. So well done to George, and all of his hard work has not gone unnoticed.
Yeah, certainly. Exactly the same words from me. Well, I think it's time for us to say goodbye, Jay. Thank you very much for joining me in the commentary box and for bringing the images to viewers around the world.
Yep, my absolute pleasure. It's been a long day. I'm going to go and make a cuppa and get ready for Formula One.
Yep, get some well-deserved rest while you're at it. Well, thank you very much, viewers, for watching. We hope you enjoyed this broadcast, and yeah, be sure to follow us on all forms of social media. We are on Facebook, we are on Twitter, we are on YouTube, we are on Twitch. Make sure to have a look at us, and also make sure you haven't got much of a chance left. Join our mailing list, www.v8sonline.com. Time is running out. You've only got a couple of minutes left before this broadcast ends, and a winner is eventually announced. So you could get $25 in iRacing credits simply for signing up to our mailing list on www.v8sonline.com. Best of luck in that respect. Well, now is the time for us to say goodbye. We hope you've enjoyed this series. We hope you've enjoyed this broadcast. You've been watching the Porsche Carrera Cup Australia Championship presented by Sim Racing Bay on V8's Online. We'll catch you later.